Good day everyone, we are group number 1 and in this video, we will be going to discuss the unit 4 which is Terrestrial Ecosystem. By the way, I'm John Luis Adesas of BSED2C and before we proceed to our discussion, alamin muna natin yung mga content under this topic, Terrestrial Ecosystem. So number 1, desert and number 2, grassland. So now let us know first what is our objectives. So objectives. At the end of this lecture video, we should be able to number 1, describe the structure of terrestrial ecosystem, and number 2, discuss the problem of soil land. So introduction. What is terrestrial ecosystem? Terrestrial ecosystem cover approximately 148 million kilometers squared, corresponding to 29% of the Earth's total surface area. So, ganun pala kalawak or kalaki yung nasasakupan or nako-cover ng terrestrial ecosystem here in Earth. Imagine 148 million kilometers squared, or it is equivalent to 29% of the Earth's total surface area. So, yung terrestrial ecosystem have some characteristic different from aquatic ecosystem according to dominant species to vegetation. So, yung dalawang ecosystem na yun, which is terrestrial and aquatic, is different from each other. Sa pangalan pa lang nila, which is terrestrial, land-based, and aquatic, which is water-based. Ang example ng terrestrial ecosystem ay yung mga desert, grassland, rainforest, and while in aquatic ecosystem naman, ang mga example nun is yung different bodies of water like lakes, river, oceans, and seas. And this complexity of composition of biological system pose vulnerability of what we call today as global environmental destruction. Terrestrial ecosystem are also grouped into larger groups which is called biomes. So, ano ba yung tinatawag nating biomes? These biomes are distinguished by characteristic temperature and precipitation. Climate of a given region is a description of the average temperature and precipitation that may be expected each day or throughout the entire year. So, para mas maintindihan pa natin kung ano ba yung biomes, let me simplify it. So, yung biomes ay rumerefer sa isang particular area na kung saan kinaklasify siya depende sa kung anong weather condition or climate ang meron yung isang lugar na yon, or kung ano ba yung mga nakatirang or nabubuhay na living organisms like plants and animals to that ecosystem or to that biomes. So there are major essential or there are major terrestrial biomes: the desert, grassland, tropical rainforest, coniferous forest, tundra, and savanna. So to have a better understanding about these major terrestrial biomes, it is to be discussed by my group mates. So that's all. Thank you.
Everyone, I am Maria Salvarina of BSED2C, and now I am going to discuss the first types of terrestrial ecosystems, which is the desert. So, what is the first thing that comes in your mind when you say the word desert? So, the desert is a region of land that is extremely dry and sandy due to the lack of rainfall. Only plants and the animals are very well adapted to the dry climate survive here. As you can see, desert is the driest regions of the earth, also known as the land of extremes. Deserts are often composed of sand and rocky surfaces. The soil is rocky because of the low chemical weathering. So, and the relative absence of humus fraction, deserts cover about 1/5 of the earth's land surface. Most hot and dry deserts are near the Tropic of Cancer or the Tropic of Capricorn. Cold deserts deserts are near the Arctic part of the world. So we have here the location, climate, vegetation, animals, and environmental concerns of desert. Firstly, when you want to go to the desert, these are the places and country that you must have to remember. The location are northern and southwestern Africa, Sahara, part of the Middle East and Asia. Australia, United States, northern Mexico, Tibetan, Bolivia, Chile, latitude of 30 degrees north and 30 degrees south. The climate of desert surfaces receive a little more than twice the solar radiation received by humid regions and lose almost twice as much heat at night. Many mean annual temperatures range from 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. The extreme maximum ranges from 43.5 to 49 degrees Celsius. Minimum temperatures sometimes drop to negative 18 degrees Celsius. Soil is thin and porous. The vegetation of desert in some plants have very long roots which grow into the ground to reach underground water sources. Some suck up as much water as they can during the rain and save it in their stems and leaves. Some store the food and water underground in their thick roots. Dominant species are cacti, brittle, bush, kola, ironwood, succulents, and desert shrubs. The animals on the desert are bury themselves in the sand or hide beneath rocks to keep cool. Animals in the desert eat plants and each other to survive. Many feed on the roots, stems, leaves, and seeds of plants. These animals are then eaten by bigger animals. Some animals get enough water from their food, but others must travel to water holes. Rodents, lizards, toads, snakes, reptiles, hawks, vultures, coyotes are among inhabitants. Lastly, the environmental concerns desert are expanding due to the overgrazing and deforestation or marginal lands. Global climate change will likely cause a redistribution and possibly an increase in the desert lands. Vegetation of deserts helps to promote the formation and concentration of important minerals. Gypsum, borates, nitrates, potassium, and other salts build up in deserts when water carrying these minerals evaporates. Minimal vegetation has also made it easier to extract important minerals from desert regions. Thank you for listening. Again, I am Merja Salvarina of Beside Tusi.
So, tropical desert, it is an environment of extreme and it is the driest and hottest place of Earth. Why? Because tropical deserts are located in regions between 5 and 30 degrees latitude. Environment is very extreme. They have the highest average monthly temperature on Earth. Yung rainfall dito is sporadic. In addition to these extreme environmental and climate conditions, most tropical deserts are covered with sand and rocks and thus too flat and lacking in vegetation to block out the wind. So, this is some of the major landforms found in tropical deserts. Due to different kinds of aeolian process, dunes, it is the amount of sand formed by the wind. Various kinds of dune in tropical deserts. Representative dunes include dunes, transverse dunes, bar chans, star dunes, shadow dunes, linear dunes, and longitudinal dunes. Then, next, depression. It caused naman by polygenetic factors such as wind erosion, broad shallow warping, and block faulting. Stream erosion, karst activity, salt weathering, mass wasting, and oceanic processes. So, ang representative naman nito is example yung large enclosed basins in Africa such as Farafra, Baharia, Dakla, Katara, Siwa, and Karga. Then, next, pans. Pans are widespread in southern and western Australia, southern Africa, and the high plains of the United States deserts. The factors responsible for pans include a vegetation-free surface and low humidity, a low water table and poorly consolidated sediment, and a huge amount of fine grain, sandstone, and shale. So, feedback mechanism also play a significant role in the process of enlarging the pond. Salts are left as water accumulates in depressions, which inhibits sedimentation due to weather and the growth of vegetation in the future. So, next is yard dunks. It can be observed in orbital and aerial image of Mars and Earth. Yard dunks usually develop in arid regions, predominantly due to wind process. The classic forms are streamlined and elongated ridge. They may also appear with flat tops or with stubby and short profiles. Then last, the inverted topography. Forms in areas previously at a low elevation such as deltaic, distributary system, and river systems. They are left at higher relief due to their relative resistance to wind erosion. Inverted topography is frequently observed in yard-dung fields such as raised channels in Egypt, Oman, China, and on Mars. Then, so rich and sometimes unique mineral resources are located also in tropical deserts like borax. Borax is a natural cleaner and freshener and also known as detergent booster. Boric acid is derived from borax and can be used to manufacture agricultural chemicals such as herbicide and insecticide. It is also used widely in fire retardants, glass, ceramics, water softeners, pharmaceuticals, paint, enamel, cosmetics, and coated paper. Then next, sodium nitrate. It forms through the evaporation of water in desert areas. The richest catch of sodium nitrate is located in South America. Approximately 3 million metric tons were mined during World War I. It was earliest food representative and still used today to cure fish and meat to produce bacon, ham, sausage, and daily meats. It is also used in manufacturing of the pharmaceuticals, fertilizers, dye, explosive, flares, and enamels. Then, fossil fuel. Natural gas and oil are complex hydrocarbons that formed millions of years ago from the decomposition of animals and plants. They are the world's primary energy source and exist in viscous, solid, liquid, and gaseous forms. The 5 largest oil fields are in Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Kuwait. The largest petroleum producing region in the world is the Arabian Desert. Then, metallic mineral. Most major kinds of mineral deposits formed by the groundwater are located in the deserts. For example, some valuable metallic minerals such as gold, silver, iron, zinc, and uranium are found in Western Desert in Australia. This is due to special geological process and climate factors in the desert. It can preserve and enhance mineral deposits. Then last, the gemstone. Tropical deserts have various semi-precious and precious gemstone. Some common semi-precious gemstone including chalcedony, opal, quartz, turquoise, jade, amethyst, petrified wood, and topaz. Precious gemstones such as diamond are used in jewelry and decoration. Although some gemstones can also be found in temperature zones throughout the world, turquoise can only be found in tropical deserts. So that's all. Thank you.
Now let's proceed to the next topic, which is temperature desert. So deserts are areas that have extreme temperatures and low precipitation. So for many people, the word desert conjures up thoughts of a hot and sandy environment. However, not all deserts are hot and sandy, though they do have at least one thing in common. They're both dry. So temperate and tropical deserts both shares this characteristic, but they also share some distinct differences. So, temperature and precipitation. Temperate and tropical desert differ considerably in the average annual temperature and precipitation. Temperate deserts can much colder than tropical deserts. Average less than 10 degrees Celsius, although the amount of precipitation is less than 100 centimeter per year for both deserts. So, temperate deserts have significant less rainfall than the tropical desert. So, as you can see in the picture, you will see there the geographic features. So, this is an example of geographic features. While many tropical deserts are sandy areas with dunes, so low vegetation and scarcity of water, temperate deserts are typically rockier regions dotted with grasses and shrubs. So canyons, exposed bedrock, and hoodoo formations are common features of temperate desert. So the floor of the temperate desert is often covered by rocks and small pebbles that have been left behind after strong winds have removed soil cover. So now let's proceed to the cold desert. So what is cold deserts? Cold deserts have hot summers but extremely cold winters. So the Gobi Desert in Central Asia is one of the coldest deserts in the world. So in winter, temperatures can drop up to negative 40 degrees Celsius. So many scientists also consider Antarctica to be a type of cold desert because it gets very little rain or snow.
Good day everyone, I'm Annie Grace Embalegtas from BSED 2C. For today's video, I will continue the discussion in terrestrial ecosystem. So first, what is grassland ecosystem? Grassland is a grassy, windy, partly dry biomes. Almost 1/4 of Earth's land area is grassland. In many areas, grasslands separate forests from deserts. The climate typically consists of warm, wet summers followed by cold, dry winters with heavy frost. Grassland biomes consist of 4 large open areas of grass. Trees can be present, but they are infrequent. The animals found in grasslands range from African elephants, Loxodonta africana, to various species of prairie dogs, Siamese. Low rainfall, wildland fires, and grazing by animals are the 3 factors that maintain grasslands. In grassland regions, the climate is ideal for the growth of grasses only. The low precipitation rates are enough to nourish grasses, but not enough for a forest of trees. Frequent fires also play a role in maintaining grassland ecosystems. Also, grasses are well adapted to grow back after a fire. Next is grasslands location. Grasslands are generally located between deserts and forests. The major temperate grasslands are located in Central North America, in the United States, Southeast South America, Uruguay, Argentina, and in Asia along the southern portion of Russia and Mongolia. Next is climate. Grasslands receive about 500 to 950 mm of rain per year compared to deserts, which receive less than 300 mm, and tropical forests, which receive more than 2,000 mm. While temperatures are often extreme in some grasslands, the average temperatures are about negative 20 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. Tropical grasslands have dry and wet seasons that remain warm all the time. Temperate grasslands have cold winters and warm summers with some rain. The grasses divert to their roots annually, and the soil protect the roots and the new buds from the cold of winter or dry conditions. A few trees may be found in this biome along streams, but not many due to the lack of rainfall. Next is vegetation. Grassland area in which the vegetation is dominated by a nearly continuous cover of grasses. Grasslands occur in environments conducive to the growth of these plants, cover but not to that of taller plants, particularly trees and shrubs. The factors preventing establishment of such taller, woody vegetation are varied. Grasslands are one of the most widespread of all the major vegetation types of the world. However, only because human manipulation of the land has significantly altered the natural vegetation, creating artificial grasslands of cereal crops, pasture, and other areas that required some form of repetitive use, unnatural disturbance such as cultivation, heavy grazing, burning, or mowing to persist. Next is animals. Grasslands ecosystem can support high densities of grazing animals. They are home to many familiar and fascinating species that live in herds, including zebras and antelopes, and the predator that prey on them, like lions and cheetahs. And lastly, environmental concerns. Grasslands are threatened by habitat loss, which can be caused by human actions such as unsustainable agricultural practices, overgrazing, and crop clearing. Almost half of all temperature grasslands and 16% of tropical grasslands have been converted to agricultural or industrial uses, and only 1% of the original tall grass exists today. There are two distinct types of grasslands, which is savannas and temperate grasslands. These two types of grasslands may look similar, but they differ in some significant ways. For example, elephants are found in African savannas, but not in the temperate grasslands of the United States. In contrast, burrowing animals such as prairie dogs are commonly found in temperate grasslands. Next is, what is savannas grasslands? Savannas grasslands are present in areas that have warm climate with a rainy seasons and a dry seasons. Most of the precipitation falls during just a few months of the year. This results in a long dry season that inhibits the growth of trees. Also, savannas and their abundant wildfire are famous in Africa, but savannas can also be found in South America, Asia, and Australia. While temperate grasslands are areas of open grassy plains that are sparsely populated with trees. On the other hand, are known for their rich soil that yields abundant growth of grasses. Grasslands do not exhibit the same need for protection as a rainforest or an old-growth redwood stand, but in the truth, grasslands are far more threatened. The importance of protecting or conserving grasslands is matched only by our need to have open space and breathe clean air. These ecosystems are critical for the health of our natural world and provide feeding grounds for all manner of prey and predators and give balance to the world. And that will be end of our presentation. Thank you and God bless.